In a grand chamber of the Galactic Council, representatives from many different alien races gathered. The room was filled with colorful lights and strange sounds, as species from across the galaxy spoke in a mix of languages. They were discussing a growing concern that had spread through the Council like wildfire: humanity. For centuries, humans had been known for their creativity and resilience. They had built cities, explored space, and shown kindness to those in need. But now some council members worried that humans were becoming too powerful. Whispers of new technologies and military advancements reached the ears of the council, raising alarms among the members. As the meeting began, a tall alien with bright purple skin and sharp features stood up. "We must act before it is too late," he declared, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Humans are no longer the weak species we once thought they were. They are a threat to our peace." Another member, a wise-looking creature with many eyes, countered, "But we cannot forget the treaties we have with Earth. They have been peaceful for over 3,000 years. Why would we attack them now?" The room erupted in debate. Some members supported the idea of war, while others pleaded for patience and understanding. The council leader, a calm being with shimmering golden scales, tried to bring order. "Let us remember our history. We should seek a solution through dialogue, not destruction." However, fear had taken root. A loud faction, led by the purple-skinned alien, pushed for immediate action. "We cannot wait," he shouted. "Humans are developing weapons that could rival our best. They must be stopped!" As the debate raged on, news reached Earth. A group of humans monitoring the Council's communications overheard fragments of the heated arguments. They were horrified to learn that the Galactic Council was considering war. Panic spread across the planet as leaders scrambled to respond. In a small town, a former soldier named Marcus watched the news with his family. He had fought in the last conflict on Earth, but that was a different time. Now peace felt fragile, and the thought of war made his heart race. "We can't let them attack us," he said, determination shining in his eyes. "We have to prepare for whatever comes next." Back in the council chamber, the pressure mounted. After hours of arguing, the council finally reached a decision. With a majority vote, they declared war on humanity. The announcement sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time in 3,000 years, the council had chosen conflict over peace. The purple-skinned alien smiled triumphantly, believing they had made the right choice. "Let us show these humans the consequences of their ambition," he exclaimed. As the news spread across the galaxy, the reactions were mixed. Some alien races cheered the council's decision, eager to see humans brought low. Others felt uneasy, questioning the need for war. Among them was a gentle race known for their wisdom. They feared that this choice would lead to suffering on both sides. On Earth, the news of the declaration hit like a thunderbolt. People gathered in streets and homes discussing the shocking news. Many were filled with fear, but others felt a fire igniting within them. Marcus knew that they had to unite. "We will not go down without a fight," he urged his friends. "We must show them that humanity will stand strong." The government quickly organized a meeting of leaders from all over the world. They had to come together to face the coming storm. In a massive hall, leaders spoke of bravery, strength, and the need for unity. The message was clear: humanity would not be a victim. As preparations began, whispers of hope mixed with the fear of war. Humans started sharing their ideas and skills, crafting new plans and strategies. A sense of determination filled the air, and it was clear that Earth was ready to fight back. The Galactic Council's choice to declare war had set off a chain of events that would change the course of history. The stage was set for a conflict that neither side could truly understand. But one thing was certain: humanity would not go quietly into the night. The fight for their future had only just begun. The news of war spread like wildfire across Earth. Every corner of the planet felt the shock of the Galactic Council's decision. Television screens flickered with images of alien ships and bold headlines declaring war against humanity. People were scared, and many gathered in groups to discuss what this meant for their future. In a large conference hall, leaders from all nations convened to address the crisis. Marcus, the former soldier, was invited to speak. As he stood before the audience, he felt the weight of the moment. He looked out at the crowd, a mix of fear and determination visible on their faces. "We must unite," he began. "We have always faced challenges, and we cannot let fear divide us now. We must show the Galactic Council that we are strong and that we will defend our home." His words ignited a spark in the room. Cheers erupted as people clapped and shouted in agreement. Leaders began to discuss plans to mobilize resources, gather military forces, and prepare for the worst. They spoke of alliances and strategies, but Marcus knew that the most important weapon they had was their spirit. As days passed, the reality of war sank in. Families began to prepare for the unexpected. Some stocked up on food and supplies, while others joined local defense groups. Schools turned into training centers where volunteers learned basic survival skills and how to protect their communities. Children listened to their parents, wide-eyed and scared, but they felt a sense of duty to help. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council, the leaders were eager to make their move. The purple-skinned alien, whose name was Zarek, felt powerful after the declaration. He met with his fellow council members to discuss the next steps. "We will launch a surprise attack," he suggested, a smile creeping onto his face. "They will never see it coming!" Some council members hesitated, but fear of humanity's growing strength pushed them to agree. The council devised a plan to send a fleet of ships to strike key locations on Earth. They believed that a show of force would quickly break human morale and bring them to their knees. Back on Earth, Marcus and the leaders continued to work tirelessly. They gathered scientists, engineers, and strategists to create new technologies that could help them fight back. News of human ingenuity spread, inspiring many. People shared ideas, and communities bonded over the common goal of defending their planet. As the first wave of alien ships approached Earth, Marcus and his team were on high alert. They had set up defense systems and radar to monitor the skies. On the day of the attack, the atmosphere was tense. Families gathered in homes, anxiously waiting for updates, while soldiers took their positions. Suddenly, alarms blared across the globe. The skies darkened as alien ships filled the atmosphere. Marcus stood at the command center, watching the screens with a mix of fear and determination. "They are here," he said firmly. "Now is the time to show them that we will not back down." The first strikes hit the coastal cities, causing destruction and chaos. Buildings crumbled, and people ran in fear. But amidst the panic, something remarkable happened. Ordinary citizens banded together to help each other. Neighbors opened their doors to those in need, and volunteers rushed to aid the injured. News reports broadcasted the bravery of everyday heroes. Videos of people helping one another went viral, spreading hope across the planet. Humans were resilient, and they refused to let fear control them. As the battles continued, the human forces fought back with unexpected strength. Marcus led a team of defenders to push back against the alien invaders. They used clever tactics, relying on their knowledge of the land to outsmart the more powerful alien technology. In the heat of battle, Marcus felt a surge of pride. He saw soldiers working alongside civilians, everyone united against a common foe. They were fighting not just for survival, but for the future of humanity. "We will stand strong," he shouted, and his words echoed in the hearts of everyone fighting for their home. With every passing moment, the humans proved that they were not easy to defeat. The Galactic Council had underestimated them, believing that a quick strike would end the conflict. Instead, they were met with fierce resistance. Humanity's spirit shone brightly, illuminating the darkness of war and showing the galaxy that they would not be silenced. The battle raged on as the Galactic Council's ships unleashed chaos on Earth. Cities lay in ruins, and the sky was filled with smoke and dust. But amid the destruction, a fire ignited in the hearts of the people. They had seen their homes attacked and their loved ones harmed, and now they were ready to fight back. In command centers around the world, leaders were strategizing. Marcus stood at the front of a large map, his brow furrowed in concentration. He pointed to key locations. "We need to hit them where it hurts," he urged. "If we can disrupt their supply lines, we might gain an advantage." The room buzzed with energy as military leaders and civilians discussed plans. They knew they had to be clever. They might not have the advanced technology of the aliens, but they had something more powerful, their determination and creativity. Teams were formed across the globe. Scientists worked day and night to create makeshift weapons and defenses. Engineers built drones and improvised machines, while civilians trained to become fighters. Every person played a role, and the unity of humanity grew stronger. As the days went by, the tides of war began to shift. Human forces launched their first coordinated counterattack. Using their knowledge of the land, they set up traps and ambushes for the alien forces. In a small coastal town, a group of civilians and soldiers joined forces. They had built barricades and created obstacles to slow down the alien advance. The aliens, confident from their initial victories, moved in without caution. Suddenly, they found themselves caught in a web of traps. Explosions rocked their formations, and confusion spread among their ranks. Marcus led the charge, rallying the fighters as they pushed forward. "We will not let them take our planet," he shouted, raising his weapon high. His words inspired those around him, giving them the strength to keep fighting. Meanwhile, in space, the Galactic Council was shocked. Zarek, the purple-skinned alien, watched the chaos unfold from his command ship. "How can this be?" he exclaimed. "They are fighting back harder than we expected." Other council members expressed concern, realizing they had underestimated humanity's resolve. Back on Earth, the news of the successful counterattack spread quickly. Citizens celebrated small victories, sharing stories of bravery. People gathered in streets to honor those who fought for their freedom. The stories inspired even more individuals to join the fight. Marcus felt a surge of hope as he witnessed the power of unity. The world was coming together as one. As the counterattacks continued, humans began to gain momentum. They launched surprise attacks on alien supply ships, crippling the Council's ability to support their forces. The tides of battle were turning, and it became clear that the humans would not be easily defeated. They learned from each engagement, adjusting their strategies and using their strengths to exploit weaknesses in the alien forces. One fateful night, Marcus and his team planned a bold operation. They would infiltrate an alien command center located deep in enemy territory. The goal was to gather intelligence and disrupt their communications. As they moved under the cover of darkness, their hearts raced with adrenaline and fear. This was a dangerous mission, but they knew it was necessary. Using stealth and teamwork, they made their way into the command center. They encountered alien guards, and each member of the team used their skills to take them down silently. With every step, they felt the weight of their mission. If they could succeed, it could change the course of the war. Once inside, they accessed the alien systems. The screens flickered with information about troop movements and supply routes. Marcus felt a rush of excitement as he realized they were gaining crucial knowledge. "We have to destroy their communication systems," he instructed. "It will confuse them and give us an edge." As they set explosives around the facility, alarms blared. The team rushed to complete their task, knowing time was running out. They fought their way through the building, facing fierce resistance. But their determination fueled them, and they pressed on. With moments to spare, they set the final charge and raced toward the exit. Just as they reached the door, a massive explosion shook the ground behind them. They stumbled outside, barely escaping the blast. The command center erupted in flames, and the aliens would now be left scrambling to regroup. The news of their success spread quickly. Humanity was showing the Galactic Council that they would not be broken. They were fighters, and they would protect their home at all costs. Each small victory inspired hope and courage, reminding everyone that together they could stand against any enemy. The fight for Earth was far from over, but humanity was ready to face whatever came next. The aftermath of the explosion echoed through the Galactic Council's command. The destruction of the alien command center sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Zarek sat in his command ship, his expression a mix of anger and disbelief. "How could they have done this?" he yelled, slamming his fist on the table. "We underestimated them." The council members looked worried. Reports poured in about human victories. The aliens had never faced such fierce resistance. They had expected a quick and easy conquest, but now their forces were scattered, and morale was plummeting. The humans were proving to be more than just a minor threat. They were a force to be reckoned with. Back on Earth, the mood was different. News of the successful mission spread like wildfire. Celebrations erupted in cities worldwide. People danced in the streets, their spirits lifted by the victories of their brave soldiers. Marcus felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. "This is our turning point," he said to his fellow leaders. "We must keep pushing forward." Plans were made to launch a massive counteroffensive. They would strike at the heart of the alien forces, targeting key bases and supply lines. Marcus knew that this was their chance to gain the upper hand. The humans had learned from their encounters, and now they had the knowledge and strategy to outsmart the aliens. As the days passed, the preparations intensified. Soldiers trained harder, and civilians volunteered to support the war effort. The factories worked day and night to produce weapons, ammunition, and supplies. Humanity was coming together like never before. The spirit of unity was palpable. and it fueled their resolve. On the battlefield, the humans grew bolder. They coordinated strikes with precision, using guerrilla tactics to confuse and disrupt the enemy. Marcus led a team of fighters into the field, his heart pounding with adrenaline. As they approached an alien supply depot, he felt a mix of fear and excitement. "Remember our training?" he reminded his team. "We strike fast and hard. Together!" They moved silently, slipping through the shadows. The depot was heavily guarded, but the humans had a plan. Using distraction techniques, they drew the guards away from the entrance. Once inside, they quickly set to work, planting explosives and sabotaging equipment. The atmosphere buzzed with urgency. They had to be quick. Suddenly, an alarm blared and red lights flashed. The team had only moments before the aliens would realize they were there. "We have to move!" Marcus shouted. They sprinted toward the exit, knowing they had to escape before the whole place went up in flames. Just as they burst through the doors, a massive explosion rocked the building behind them, sending debris flying. The successful raid on the supply depot sent a clear message to the Galactic Council: humanity was not to be trifled with. Reports of the explosion reached the council chambers, and Zarek was furious. "We must crush them! We cannot let them continue to gain ground," he declared, his voice filled with desperation. As the humans celebrated their victory, Marcus and his team knew they could not rest for long. The war was far from over. They had gained momentum, but the aliens would retaliate. "We need to be ready for their next move," he said, gathering the leaders for an urgent meeting. "We cannot let our guard down." Days turned into weeks as the battle continued. The humans faced many challenges, but their spirit remained unbroken. They grew more organized and resourceful, learning from their mistakes. Each small victory strengthened their resolve. The humans were no longer just defenders, they were warriors. In the Galactic Council, panic began to set in. Zarek and his fellow leaders argued about their next steps. "We have to send reinforcements," one suggested. "We cannot lose this war." But fear began to replace their confidence. The humans were fighting back fiercely, and Zarek knew that their time was running out. As humanity continued to press on, the turning point had come. The tide of the war was shifting, and they were no longer just defending their planet. They were taking the fight to the enemy. The Galactic Council had awakened a sleeping giant, and now humanity was ready to show the galaxy their true strength. The fight for Earth was far from over, but with every passing day, they grew stronger, more united, and more determined than ever before. The battle for survival had transformed into a battle for freedom, and the humans were ready to reclaim their home. The war had dragged on for months, and Earth lay in ruins. Cities were battered and countless lives were lost. But amid the destruction, a glimmer of hope began to shine. As the humans continued to push back against the Galactic Council, their determination caught the attention of some within the Council itself. In a hidden chamber on Zarek's command ship, a small group of Council members gathered. They were tired of the fighting and the losses. "We cannot continue like this," said Eris, a wise and old member. "Our forces are weakened and Earth is resilient. We must consider a new approach." Zarek frowned, still filled with anger from previous losses. "But we cannot show weakness. If we reach out to them now, they will think we are afraid." "Perhaps it is time to be afraid," Eris replied, looking around the room. "The humans are proving to be a formidable foe. We have taken so much from them already. If we do not seek peace, this war could destroy us all." The debate continued, with some council members insisting on further military action while others agreed with Eris. Eventually, they reached a decision. A messenger would be sent to Earth to propose a truce. It was a chance to negotiate and perhaps end the conflict. Meanwhile, on Earth, Marcus was still leading the fight. After weeks of relentless battles, he gathered his team for an urgent meeting. "We have pushed them back," he said, looking at the tired faces around the table. "But we cannot let our guard down. We need to stay strong." Just then, a soldier burst into the room. "Commander! We have received a message from the Galactic Council." The room fell silent, and Marcus felt a mix of hope and suspicion. "What do they want?" he asked. "They want to discuss a truce," the soldier replied, holding the message tightly. The room erupted into chatter. Some were hopeful for peace, while others were skeptical. "How can we trust them after everything they've done?" one leader said angrily. "They will use this as a chance to regroup and attack again." Marcus raised his hand to quiet the room. "We cannot ignore this opportunity," he said firmly. "If there is a chance for peace, we must explore it." But we will be cautious. We will not let our guard down. After much discussion, it was decided that a delegation of humans would meet with the Council's messenger. They would go to the designated location, ready to negotiate but prepared for anything. The day of the meeting arrived. Tension filled the air as Marcus and his team approached the alien ship. They stepped into the grand hall, filled with strange lights and unfamiliar technology. Zarek stood at the front, flanked by council members, looking more serious than ever. "Thank you for coming," Zarek said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "We are here to discuss the possibility of peace between our peoples. The war has cost us too much, and it is time to find a new path forward." Marcus listened closely, his instincts on high alert. "We are willing to talk," he replied, "but we want guarantees that you will not attack us again. We need to know that our families will be safe." Zarek nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We can agree to a ceasefire and discuss terms for peace. We did not foresee the strength and spirit of humanity. It has changed our perspective." As the discussions unfolded, the atmosphere began to shift. Marcus and Zarek exchanged ideas and perspectives, their words laced with caution but also a hint of hope. They spoke about rebuilding, sharing resources, and fostering a new alliance. After hours of intense negotiations, a draft agreement was presented. It promised a ceasefire, trade agreements, and the establishment of a council that included representatives from both sides. The humans could hardly believe what they were hearing. "This could change everything," one of Marcus's team members whispered. Finally, they shook hands, sealing the agreement. The atmosphere in the room lightened as relief washed over everyone. The war was not over, but they had taken a significant step toward peace. As Marcus and his team left the alien ship, they felt a sense of accomplishment. They had fought for their planet and their people, and now they had opened a door to a new future. The journey would not be easy, but the hope of peace was worth fighting for. Humanity had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, ready to build a better world alongside their former enemies. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted. People rejoiced at the news of a truce. The war-torn planet began to heal, and as humanity moved forward, they held on to the belief that peace was not just a dream, but a possibility worth pursuing. The future looked brighter, and together they would forge a new path for all.